Good day, and welcome back to another episode of Secret World Legends. In the last episode, we got our bearings together. We got visited by Illuminati representatives who told us to go to Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, we met up with a nutcase in a laundromat who told us they are always watching. Using that clue, we found the headquarters. Then we got sent into a weird room by another nutcase who was a scientist. And now in this episode, we have to go to Solomon Island. So is everyone ready for the next journey? Great. Now let's get started. Okay, here we are on Solomon Island. The reason why we haven't gone through Agatha is because it was extremely glitchy, so I decided to rather start recording here so it doesn't irritate people with the glitchiness. Okay, so shall we get started?
Promoted. Faction rank increase. Congratulations, Gopher.
Oh, don't worry, kid. You haven't gone back in time. I just happen to be the last of the cowboys. Got your southern welcome right here. Mesquite beans, Texas style. Good ought to face evil on a full stomach. Name's Boone. I'm a troubleshooter. You and I need to have a powwow before you go shooting for trouble. Illuminati may have legacy on Solomon Island, but you folks gave that up for the high life and the low road. Sure, you can be divided in purpose, but we gotta stand united against darkness. This ain't my first rodeo. I know we're gonna need all the unity we can get. Don't mean to say you stepped into hell, but when the wind blows west, you can just about smell the brimstone. All we know is death and fog came from the sea, or someone brought it back with them. And if I was a gambling man, I'd put money on that someone still being around. Bunch of survivors holed up in Kingsmouth town. Follow that main road and the sound of gunfire, you'll come to the sheriff's office. Kid, whatever your reasons for being here, you find out what those people died for, and you bring a reckoning.
Jack Boone talked about how death and fog came to Solomon Island from the sea, and that someone brought it back with them. He believes that someone is still around, and that whatever the reason anyone might have for being here, they should find out what the fog is, how it came, and what the people of the Kingsmouth died for. He said the few survivors are mostly gathered to the east at the sheriff's office in Kingsmouth. Accept the question for... Okay, so...
Forest crawls. Gets my fingers itching for two matters. One, the other, figuring out a way to keep them down. It ain't right the way the dead walk the earth. They deserve their 6 feet, same as everyone else. I've sworn to keeping guard here, and you've got places to be, but nothing's stopping you from culling the herd as you go. Hell, figure out what makes them tick and how to make that ticking stop, and I'll buy you a beer at the apocalypse. So go on, kid. Saddle up. The end of the world waits for no man.
Jack's camp is literally surrounded by zombies. Help them keep their numbers down. Kill zombies in the area around Jack's camp. The note says, do not try to be a hero. Just get all the ammo you can find and get the hell back here. Lives depend on it. The note is signed by Deputy Andy. The sheriff's office in town is clearly in distress. You better grab the ammo from the pickup and find Deputy Andy.
Heck if I know where you folks keep coming from, but anyone who walks through that door alive pretty much gets my amnesty. Something in your past colors you sourly to a badge, I'd ask you to call it quits in return. We agreeable? Well then, I'm Sheriff Bannerman, and this down-home little state of emergency is what's left of my jurisdiction. Sure, we tried to hold as much of the town as we could at first, more out of nostalgia than any civil defense plan. I won't tell you Kingsmouth was a slice of heaven in a snow globe, but it was ours. Now it ain't. There was always something running under in this town. Maybe what's spilled out now. If that's how it works, I couldn't say hand on heart we didn't have it coming. But that fog, and the things in it, they didn't pick and choose when they came in. Most folks didn't stand a chance. Now, I can see you're armed. I won't kick up any fuss about that. Straight truth is, you'll need to be. Just don't go thinking that means you're deputized as such. Heaven knows if there was ever a time and a place for the right to bear 'em, you're looking at it. Henry has his word of God, that Roger woman has her crystal ball, and Norma out on the point's got a 12 gauge. My money's on Norma. Well, hey!
Helen, I'm not leaving my home. I'll be fine. I've raised 3 boys, and if they couldn't break me, then nothing can. You're always welcome to visit. Wouldn't say no to the company. Just bring your gun and some extra shells if you can spare any. Not saying it's lonely, but without Larry or the boys, there ain't much talking in the house. Just my 12 gauge and the dead, and they don't talk much back. Send someone to check on Norma.
Well, sure wasn't in our yearly budget to put the town under martial law. No, the good old boys on the council were all about thrifty spending, at least above the table. So I squirreled away where I could for some surveillance equipment. Police business, sure, let's call it civic awareness. I'm talking your webcams, your motion sensors. Oh, don't look so surprised. Kingsmouth might be out in the sticks, but we have electricity and everything. Running water in tourist season. Come back when this whole damn mess is blown over, I'll give you the tour far as the old lighthouse. But, to get to the point of it, seems to me we should bring that gear out of mothballs and get it hooked up around town. Gives me some early warning and the others a break from my collection of Jeopardy reruns. You know where to find me. Behind this desk.
It sure is good to see someone living.
Hello, my friend.
Even a small town like Kingsmouth should have some security measures. Perhaps some of the local business have installed surveillance systems. Check the phone book for likely candidates. This is the one that needs changing. Have it done before I'm back from Bangor. New cameras are in the basement. Remember to fill out the repair form and file it with the museum admins. James Morris.
I think you should go away. You should go away now. You need to go away because I'm not feeling very stable right now.
Now you are a sight for sore eyes.
Good to see you.
Jeez, you never saw anything like this in the cop shows. Well, maybe on cable, not the network ones. You wouldn't know it from looking out there, but before that wicked bad fog rolled in, Kingsmouth was a sleepy little burg. Nothing stronger on the streets than a hot cup of coffee and chocolate-glazed donuts from Susie's. The occasional DUI or domestic disturbance. Human sacrifice. But every town has a dark side, right? We sure are getting a heaped help in the darkness now, eh? The Walking Dead and worse besides taking over our town. Us survivors hold up in here, hoping it's all just a bad dream and we'll wake up to the smell of bacon and maple syrup. But unless someone ups and does something, and soon, all we're gonna wake up to is the smell of rotten flesh. And I don't need another thing to remind me of my dad. Halloween does bring back the memories, eh?
Those kittens, jeez.
trouble on the south barricade. Coming in from the south side now. We held off the undead hordes for another day. Or at least another 5 minutes.
Being initiated.
The wounds on a mutilated corpse close to the wood suggest a mauling from something even more dangerous than the zombies. Search for the predator. Trail of blood leads away from the corpse. It could lead you to the predator. Follow the trail of blood.
Special assignment received. Initializing. Visual tracking initiated.
Norma's house is surrounded by zombies, and even though she blasts them to pieces with a shotgun, they seem to never stop coming. He's encouraged by the way the bones burn on the bonfire, however. Perhaps incinerating zombie remains is a way of getting rid of them altogether. Norma can't seem to kill the zombies attacking the house fast enough. There's no time left for cleaning up the remains. Help Norma defend her house.
Oh, yeah. You'd think these wet bits would just fizzle on the bonfire, but no. They sparkle like kindling wood. That's heartening. Ah, geez, what a mess. Good thing I'm not particular. Now I'm used to getting my hands dirty. Fish guts, childbirth, sutures, the dead. Yeah, maybe I was born for this work. Ah, that don't sound right. Nobody's made for this ungodly work. Except maybe this old thing. So I kill and I chop and I burn, but there's more of them every day, and I feel like I'm pushing a very big stone up a very steep mountain, and it keeps rolling back down. What do you call that? Sisyphean? Or is that when you get a burning in your privates? My idea of culture is reruns of Cheers and, not ancient Greek mythology. Well, the old gal ain't a proper match for everything that turns up on my doorstep. Seems she's too much for most of it. Spreads a bone of dead man's guts all over the place. There's no time to gather it all up before we're right back up in the thick of it. And they never stop coming. They never stop coming.
bonfire sizzles on the bones fizzled on the bonfire, turning the flame a mystical blue. There are 4 general kinds of zombies in the area, those that are dry and slow due to age, those that are wet from emerging out of the water, those that run fast, and those that appear to have cultist roots. Find out which zombie remains caused this peculiar reaction.
Special assignment received. Initializing. Additional assignment received. Initializing.
Well now, I'm not much fit for entertaining, but I reckon you ain't much in the mood for hospitality either, am I right? Oh, not a big talker, eh? I'm used to that from a surly husband, and kids more comfortable with kicking a ball around than having a conversation with their ma. Name's Norma. Norma Creed. Raised a family up here before this dungeon thick fog came took 'em is my story. Helen sent you over to check on me, I reckon. Now, your concern is wicked kind, but I don't need any pitying. I got my shotgun, I got what's left of my wits. I'll manage. Now, this hullabaloo began after the Lady Margaret came back. My husband Larry, the others, we all thought that they'd gone missing out there, but the sea took 'em. The day they came back, whole town could finally breathe again. But then came that fog, like it was following them back to shore. 'Twas right, said they, such birds to slay, that bring the fog and mist. Don't ask me where I got that from. Probably heard it on Oprah. Never got to ask Larry about what happened in those weeks they were gone. Been around gift horses long enough not to look him in the mouth. He was back. Thought life would go on the way life goes on, one day at a time. When the fog lifts enough to see the Lady Margaret laid up in the harbor, covered in that red seaweed, I always wonder if he'd still be here if I had.
Okay, well I will be leaving this episode here, and in the next episode we will be looking at the Lady Margaret, and let's just see what the journal says. Okay, it doesn't show what it actually says, but that's what we'll be looking at in the next episode. If you liked my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and turn on the post notification for more updates on my channel. I will see you guys in my next video. See ya.